All right. So this topic I picked today, it's still with the TD Jakes one, just because I love like what he talks about. I love just his perspective. He's very, very, very wise. And so he just kind of comes from a sense of like, I totally get how you're feeling. I've gone through basically every stage in life, so I can tell you my perspective and what God has done for me in my life. And so this one says a vat full of weight. I don't really know what vat means, but we're just gonna go with it. And I read it last night and I was like, ooh, this one's a really good one. Then I can kind of tell you all about my personal experience of what I'm experiencing right now. Um, so it says a vat full of weight. And it says, some years after I finally accepted my calling, I remember pleading with God to allow me to preach. It was one thing to not even want the calling in the first place. But to be called and then be forced to sit in the background and listen to people speak from books of the Bible they couldn't even probably pronounce was the most aggravating experience in my life. It was during my inner court period that the Lord was developing my gift. I would be in the shower preaching to bars of soap and wash rags. I would be walking through the woods of West Virginia laying hands on trees. All of this might sound comical to you, but I now see these moments as part of the season of fermentation. I spent years cleaning out the baptism pool and leading devotional services before worship began, wondering when it would be my time to stand and proclaim the infallible word of God. My heart would ache because I knew I had something to offer. Like the disciples, my heart was rent because the process didn't happen like I wanted, but waiting was far more beneficial because the Lord was working on something marvelous in a secret place. He was working on my character. He was working on my heart. He was working on my nervousness. He was working on my motives. He was working on my wisdom. He was working on me, boiling off every single impurity because there was no way God was going to present the world an unrefined, unfermented, underdeveloped product. When it comes to winemaking, the fermentation stage is nothing more than a waiting area for the grapes. They have already been crushed, and now the grapes find themselves in an aspect of the process where there is no pain, so to speak. It's in the transitory moment of waiting that God is preparing you for the next step. Destruction comes swiftly on the heels of moving too soon. After crushing us, God exercises his grace by allowing us to ferment in the supposed stillness of transition so that we might be ready for the next stage. One thing I want to point out right here that kind of like screamed at me last night before I went to bed is it says destruction comes swiftly on heels of the heels of moving too soon. So how I was feeling yesterday, and I tell you all these things not to sit here and be like, to have my team think that I'm just like pissed off at the world, because that's not it at all. It's more of just like to be real and raw and to like, I don't know, like, even though I'm maybe in a position from others' point of view where they're like, man, I was where she was. I know I do that to Morgan. I know I do that to other people in this business. Um, and I always talk about this business again because it's just like, it's my life. I just love it so much. And so yesterday I was feeling so frustrated, and I was feeling so frustrated because I was looking at volumes of what we needed for presidential, where we're at. And, I had goals and plans to go presidential this month with my team. And there's a lot of things that aren't happening, but there's also a lot of blessings happening. And so when I read this last night, I was like, God, I need you to show me something. Because yesterday like after we got off the prayer Zoom, I was doing good for a second, and then I just got extremely frustrated and irritated. And so with that time, I was just like questioning God. I was in my moments, and I've told y'all before, it's completely okay if you want to scream. It's okay if you want to yell at God. It's not like he's going to sit here and punish you. If anything, it gets your real feelings out and puts all the what is it, the front aside, like all the fake fronts aside, and it gets real between you and God. And yesterday I was mad. I was really angry because I've prayed for duplication. I've prayed for personally enrolled people on my team to be just absolutely incredible. And they are, and that's the thing. And so I was in my moment. I was in my feelings because things weren't happening as fast as I wanted them to be. I had this moment where I was like, I've prayed for it to be in the top 150. I've prayed to be a top income earner. I've prayed for me to be able to show myself that I can produce diamonds, me to be able to produce blah, blah, blah. There was so many things going on, and I was just angry. And so in this moment, when he says destruction comes swiftly on the heels of moving too soon, I can experience this, and maybe y'all can experience this with the business, or not even just in the business, but in life. When you pray for something and you force it to happen before it's actually ready to happen, 1,000% you'll lose it. And it's not in like you'll lose it because you deserve it. It's more of like, sometimes you have to lose it to get that reality check that you need in order to see that you are not I think the right word is to say fermented yet. I don't really know. You're not there yet. And so to rush the process, you can give it your all, but at the end of the day, if you give something your all and it's just not happened yet, that is your sign that it's just not ready to be there yet. And sometimes that's so frustrating, especially in this business. Like we're pushing and I'm going to continue to push to the end of this month and even into next month. I don't know what's going to happen at this point. I can't confidently say we're going to be presidential tomorrow. I cannot confidently say that. And that's where my frustration came yesterday. I was just like, God, I'm just so annoyed with you. Like, why do I continue to pray for these things? And it's like, it takes me 16 million light years, but it takes some people 2 months, you know? And why does it take people to produce rubies like a freaking day? And then it takes me months and months. Like, why is my journey so long? Like I've done the things, I've done these prayer teams, I've led people to Jesus. I've helped these people really see the value in this business, but not even just in this business, but in their life. I've done a lot of things. I've been here for my mom through her seasons. Like I've been here. Why am I not blessed? Like I want to be blessed. And I was irritated. I started crying. I was frustrated. I don't know. I felt all these feelings. And so I'm telling you these things to let you know, like I'm human too. So I can feel these things and I'm not always perfect with my faith. There are times where I'm like, God, I literally don't want to talk to you right now. I'm angry at you. I can't stand you. The fact that you have not like blessed me in the ways that I wanted to be blessed. I'm just over it at this point. And that's how I felt yesterday. It didn't last for long, obviously. I went on a walk. I went on a really long walk and then it obviously kind of went away. That's what I do. If you find a pathway when you're feeling angry or frustrated, finding something that's really going to release that. I went to Walmart and got the book, Get Out of Your Head. I'm reading that. And so after this, I'll read some more of that. But I normally go on long walks. So whatever that takes for you, I advise you to do it, especially when you do feel frustrated. Don't dwell on your feelings because that's not going to do anything. Go do something for you. Go do something that is going to make you believe or help you believe like, okay, God has a reason for me. I just went outside and I enjoyed the beautiful nature. And sometimes that just puts me back into a perspective of, okay, I'm here for a reason. I'm blessed. I get to have shelter. I get to have food every day. I get to have a team I get to talk to. I get to have this, and it puts me back into reality. And so something that he talks about is, it says, but waiting was far more beneficial because the Lord was working on something marvelous in a secret place. He was working on my character. He was working on my heart. He was working on my nervousness. He was working on my motives. He was working on my wisdom. He was working on me boiling off every impurity because there was no way he would allow me to present myself if I was unrefined. Something I want to ask you is what is he working on in your life? Maybe it is a promotion. I feel like we can all relate to that. Maybe it is a promotion, but maybe it's not a promotion. Maybe it's something with family. Maybe it's something with people in your life. You want them to change. You want them to sit, like I've told y'all a million times, I've prayed over my mom specifically for 13 years. For 13 years, I've prayed over my mom. And there gets times where I'm just like, God, I literally want to scream at you because like, why? Like, why? And at the end of the day, I can ask why, I can ask how, like, when is it going to change? How can it change? How can I be better for her? Like all these different things. But at the end of the day, and this is probably like not the best perspective to look at, but it's teaching me on who I don't want to be for my kids. And that's the best way that I can look. That's literally the only scenario that I can look at it so far, because I don't have anything else for that, because the rest of it just irritates me. It frustrates me that she's like that. But that's the best way that I can look at it. It's like, okay, so I know what I don't want to be as a parent when I am a parent. And I know that I'm creating this life right now. I'm going through the stages of my life because when I become a mom, I'm going to be the best person for that human. And that's going to create a better human in this world. And then my little human is going to create a better human in the world. And so I have to think of it like that sometimes, even on days that it is really hard because it's not always easy. And just reading this passage last night just kind of made me want to cry. Because like in the moment where I'm just sitting and I'm sitting and I'm sitting and I'm sitting, I want to make winner circle. I want to do all these things. I want duplication to happen. I want 10 new diamonds to pop up on my team. I want my people to go ruby. And it's so frustrating when I'm like, you can go ruby, you can go ruby, you can go ruby. And they're like, no, I can't. And at the end of the day, I just got frustrated because I'm just like, God, what is happening? Like, what do I need to wait on? What are you doing in this season? And in this season, I just have to give a perspective of he's doing something even if I don't know what he's doing, and I don't know what he's doing right now. I can't really actually give perspective on that right now. I'm going through the season, so I can't tell you exactly what he's doing in my life. But I wanted to be really real today because yesterday was really hard. And I want to show y'all maybe even a week from now what my perspective is going to be like for what's going on today and yesterday. So sometimes when I'm going through seasons, I obviously can't tell you the exact answer, just like I can't tell my team if they're struggling. Maybe I'm struggling. At the same time, I can't necessarily give them the answer that they want. I have some leaders struggling right now. And I'm like, all I can do is just give them grace and say, you know what, it's going to be okay. I can't sit here and say, oh, this is what's going to happen. I don't feel confident in that yet because I'm going through my own season. And so I know that in this season, he's teaching me something, even if it's more patience, because God knows I need it. Because it's been 6 years waiting for me to just teach duplication with my team. It's been 6 years of just wanting diamonds on my team. It's been 6 years of me wanting to be a top income earner. But at the end of the day, it's also what type of heart is he trying to give me? And I think at this point, sometimes he doesn't bless me with the things because my decisions and because my motives aren't pure. I am wanting these things so I can prove to myself that I can do these things. I want these things for my team to want these things too. That's obviously the biggest of them all. I'm yellow, like thinking of others screams at me. Like that's what I do constantly. But I think my biggest motive is because I'm just like, God, I just want to prove it to myself that I can do this. And he's like, sis, you thinking you can do this is so wrong. Like you need to depend on me that I can do this. And then we can change the world together. But at this point, you're still impure in some of the things. So I'm not going to bless you with this yet. And so it's very frustrating. I cannot even explain to you guys how much I yelled yesterday. Y'all probably think I'm psycho saying this, but it's so true. I yelled, like I literally was in my house, and Dallas has like his PlayStation plugged up all the time. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I pray that someone's not like accidentally on and then like they hear me, because they are literally gonna call Dallas thinking I'm psycho. Don't think that was the case, but I was yelling at the top of my lungs, and I'm just like, God, what, like at this point, what are you even doing in my life? Like, I'm seriously, and I could say that over and over again, reasons why I got Get Out of Your Head, because she talks about there's like scientific facts as to why your mind thinks the way it does. And I'm only on like the third page, so I really don't know that far into it, but people suggested it to me. And so I'm going to do my work today, but I'm going to spend the majority of my time just really pouring into myself, because I have a lot of doubts. I have a lot of fears. I have a lot of just anger right now of just how things are happening. And I know at the end of the day, it's going to be okay. It always does. Year in, year out. It's always great. Things always happen for the good. He's never like left me in the dust and then I've just like sat there. You know, that's never happened. He's left me in the dust for a little bit when I thought he didn't answer me or when I thought he wasn't loud, but he was showing me in that moment. And that's why I wanted to go over this one today, because if you don't know TD Jakes, he's a pastor. He also is a movie creator with Tyler Perry. A lot of his movies are really good. And he's also, I've seen Stephen Furtick interview him. And if you listen to his stories, I'm almost certain he'll tell you, like, I've been to the bottom of the bottom. I've been to the top of the top. I've been in the middle. I've been to it all. And I just want you to know that everything in your life happens for a reason. And you have to take that with perspective. And so that's something I wanted to get, was just his perspective today. And then he kind of reminded me, like, hey, it's aggravating to be in this experience in your life. Like, it's very aggravating. I can't even dismiss how you feel. But at the same time, I've lived past that, and I'm letting you know now there's a reason for what you're going through. And so I just wanted to remind you that like, I'm not discounting your aggravation. I'm not discounting the anger that you have towards a certain situation. I'm not discounting your discouragement that you feel towards the business because it's not going as fast as you want it to. But I am letting you know it's not okay to give up. It is not okay to give up. I do not respect people as much when they give up. Something in me, and it might be like the red in me, I really don't know. And I'm not even that much red. I'm really blue and yellow. So it's like the tiny red that speaks out to me, but I don't have respect for you if you give up. And it's not to say that I just like hate you as a person. It's not anything like that, but it's like, if I'm still in the season that I'm in 6 years later and I have not given up, there's no reason you should give up after a month or after 2 years or after 3 months or after a couple of months. There's absolutely no reason, because even if you never made another dollar in this business, which you will, hopefully that's not the case. That's kind of impossible. If you're working, it's impossible to not make money. but I would trade out all the money I made for the person that I am. And that's hard to say because I am money driven. But seriously, if you give up on yourself and you give up on this business, you're giving up what God is trying to make you become in the process. And that's all I have to say about that. So if you're like, I want to give up, I want to give up, I want to give up. Okay, well, ask God to change your perspective on like you giving up, and ask God to say, okay, God, if I stay, or when I stay, what are you going to do? Show me just a little glimpse of what you're going to do. And I bet you he's going to show you something. Yesterday, when I was so angry and I was like, just angry at the world, and I like basically told God for the day. And I told him this, I'm just going to be really honest with you guys, because I told you I was going to be here today. I told him yesterday, I was like, I just want to give up on like everything that I'm doing for you, because it just seems like sometimes I go in like these whirlwinds where I'm just like on a really great high, and then I spiral all the way back down to where I'm just like, God, what are you even working in my life? And I got really angry, like really, really angry. And so I told him, I was just like, I just want to give up. Like, I genuinely want to give up on absolutely everything. And this doesn't necessarily have to be with the business. You'll never see me quit the business. It was more of just like, I want to give up my efforts to see what you can truly do without me even giving the full force efforts that I normally do. And I asked him, I was like, can you just like, I don't care if it's just like literally a piece of sand thrown at me. Like, I just need something to know that you are real and that you are here. And I got a text message last night. I won't go into full detail because I don't want to call anybody out, but it was a good one. It wasn't a bad one. And it was just like them saying, I did this today and I saw the results. And that is something that I've been praying for someone to actually do the work and then them see results from it. And then they texted me last night. It was someone that's in a promotion spot. And that was just like the little push that I needed just to move forward today, and to say, okay, God, I see you working, even though I'm still angry at you because I'm not where I want to be. I'm just going to keep going, even if it's at a slower pace, because right now I'm still angry at you. I'm going to keep going. And that's what I did. And I got that text message last night, and I'm just going to have faith that I'm going to get those text messages today, and just have him work in my best interest, even if it's not at the pace I want to. Like, y'all, I like want winner's circle so bad. And I keep getting pushed back further and further with points. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. And then I want duplication to happen, and volume keeps dropping. And I keep wanting my team to see how just amazing they are. And I keep getting text messages, people getting discouraged. And I'm like, God, are you working against me? Are you even here? Do you even listen to me? Are we even here? But then guess what? There's so many blessings happening within that too. I have new team members joining. I have some people who are like, you know what? I just needed to listen to you for a day, and now I'm on the right track. I do see benefits. There's people that came back in the business who are freaking killing it, who I thought quit forever. Like, it's just, and so anytime something feels like it's falling, he's going to replace it with a blessing. And you just have to see it from that angle. And when you do, it's a lot healthier. It's a lot better. It's a lot easier, instead of like sitting here focusing on all the negatives. Because believe me, I can think about negatives all day long, and I think it's genuinely just from my parents. They're nothing but negative, and it's really hard to break. So I don't know, like, I just wanted to get really real with y'all for a second. I can't even like sugarcoat today, because that's how I felt. That's how I feel today. So I'm going to spend a full hour reading this book just so I can kind of like revamp my mind. So if you're on my team, I'm not going to ignore you. So if you've texted me, I'm not ignoring you, but I have to protect my peace sometimes. And I have to, like, for me to be a better human, and for me to be a better leader, for me to be a better just person overall, I have to sometimes pour into my cup and ignore you guys. And that's not because I don't like y'all. It's because I genuinely care so much for y'all. I don't want my anger to feed into y'all. I'll be all right. I know I can handle it. Like, I've handled it this far. So I know went way longer today than expected. So I do apologize, but I just wanted y'all to know the realness of what I'm feeling. And I'm trying not to cry, because I just like was so irritated yesterday. And so I'm just hoping that this month is going to carry on into next month. So some many blessings. I pray that y'all see blessings today. But y'all can go ahead and drop your prayer requests below.